Hello. Happy Sunday. I'm in my pajamas and I've been in my pajamas all day. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I thought maybe we'd try an earlier start and see if that was helpful for people. Hi, Shraddha. You're getting ready to start a meditation practice at 5. And if you haven't been joining us for the past few practices, then some of this might move a little quicker, but don't feel like you have to have done the past practices in order to be here and to be able to kind of jump into the practice. This is one of the culminating practices. It's called Mayatri. And basically all of the things that we've been working on over the past couple weeks will be put together into one format, and then we'll utilize the opening the space, the imagery and visualization to confront or address the parts of ourselves that we struggle with. So this one's challenging today, and I will say, as I always say about these practices, that you all are in the driver's seat. I'm here to guide you and create the container maybe for you to have an experience, but you are always able to slow things down or take a break or come back to it another day if it feels like it's too much for today. Lynette had a pajama day too. That's awesome. So we'll get started in a few minutes. Just also a word of expectation for this coming week. We're going to be doing with Yoga Factory is going to be trying out some Zoom classes this week. So I think Katie's teaching on Monday, Friday, and Saturday, and I'll be teaching on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And they just put out that schedule. So if you are a Yoga Factory member, you should have gotten an email about it. And if you're not, reach out to me, let me know, and I'll be happy to give you the information. But with the Zoom, we'll actually be able to see each other. So I'm pretty excited for that. I think that'll be really cool. But today is the last one we'll be doing on, it may not be the last one that we're doing all together. We might still be doing both kinds of content. That way you have options. It's been kind of a gloomy day, but it made me feel like I had permission. We did a little brunch this morning and then curled up on the sofa with the puppy. Get to just kind of chillax. If you're jumping on and you feel like saying hi, I always like knowing who's practicing with me. There's a live chat option if you want, but you're also welcome to remain anonymous. I understand that too. If you're just jumping on, you're jumping on for a guided meditation. This one probably won't be quite an hour tonight. We'll see. We'll see how long it lasts. It'll probably be more like 30 to 45 minutes. I recommend having, because we'll start lying down and then we'll work our way into a seated position. So I recommend grabbing a blanket if you have one, and you might want to grab a meditation cushion or a pillow, or if you ever feel like ordering this handy piece of equipment, it's called a mobile meditator, and you can buy them on Amazon. They're pretty inexpensive, and they're really, really, the way that it's shaped is just really helpful for comfortable seated meditation. Oh, Lynette is asking if I recommend candles or incense or anything. Anything that you enjoy to create an atmosphere or a space that you feel calm and relaxed in, absolutely. I did not bring, did I bring my candles up here? Actually, I did. I forgot to light them. That's a good reminder. Thank you, Lynette. Hey, Bob. Oh, that's great. Bringing a whole crew. I love it. I was thinking about you guys the other day. I'm so glad to see you. Not exactly the same, but I don't think I've had a chance to catch up with you guys, since all this craziness has been happening. We'll get started in just a little bit. So again, this is a meditation practice, and the past couple of weeks we've been basically building up to what we're doing tonight. So if you've been practicing with us, oh, good. I'm glad I'll get to actually see your face on Zoom. But this meditation is basically a little bit of all of the techniques that we've been working on. But it doesn't matter if you haven't been able to join us in the previous weeks, it's okay. I do recommend, if you have the time, to go back and to try all the meditations that lead up to this. They're all on YouTube, but you'll still hopefully have, I like to believe, a very potent or powerful experience with these techniques tonight. It's almost time to start. So I talked a little bit about this last week, but I want to mention it again because we've got some different folks joining us tonight. Welcome, everybody. So these meditation practices utilize visualization techniques, which means that my words are hopefully guiding you towards a particular experience that's in the body. So all of these meditations are meant to bring you into a stronger connection with your somatic experience. That being said, I did not make these up. These are very, very ancient traditions. They come from Tibetan Buddhism and Vajrayanist Buddhist techniques. So I highly recommend that if you can, do your best to utilize the images that I'm giving you and not shift them or change them, because they're kind of like an archetype. They have a very, very specific purpose, and the images themselves have a power to them or a potency. So even if today it's a struggle, come back, do the meditation again. You can either watch or you can guide yourself through them, but do the best to stay with the images that we're using, because they are very purposeful. They are very significant. I would recommend having a blanket or a pillow or both. Some of the meditation will be lying down and some of it will be seated upright. All right, it's about time. Okay, so we're going to start lying down on our back tonight, and we're actually going to begin with a little bit of breath work that's called 12-fold belly breathing. So we'll come down into what's called constructive rest pose, or in this meditation practice, just the lying down position. Do my best not to get it too backlit. So you're coming down onto your back with the soles of the feet on the floor, and I recommend walking your feet wide and then letting your knees drop in so that the weight of one knee is being supported by the weight of the other knee. Some folks even find that tying the knees together is nice because it takes the need to have any kind of muscular effort out of it. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a way to really find ease and relaxation in the body. You'll bring your hands onto your belly And for some of us, it will be left hand underneath of the right hand, right in the center of your navel. If it feels like your elbows aren't quite touching the floor, then you might walk your hands a little bit wider so that you're able to actually let there be contact between the joint of the elbow and the mat or the floor, the whatever is underneath of you. And then take a moment to make any adjustments in your body. You might kind of wiggle a little bit. If it feels like there's asymmetries, you might snake one hip forward or walk your feet to a width that's allowing them to be anchored. And then let your eyes close. So this first technique we build from our 10 points practice, which is the bringing your breath into different parts of the body, noticing where there's tension and releasing that tension down into the earth. And we're going to do it just a little bit more quickly. It's going to be more of a full body breath experience instead. So first, just noticing the places where your body is making contact with the floor. And seeing if you can sink into that connection a little bit. So there's this thing in our brain, our egos kind of feel like we have to hold ourselves in a shape. See if you can soften the back boundary of your body and have a sense of yourself actually being held up, being supported by the earth beneath you. And then take a breath in as if you were breathing in through your pores, through your skin. And so you're breathing into your body. And you're not just breathing into the surface, you're breathing into your muscles and your bones and your organs. You might even start to have a sense of the fact that you are made up of trillions and trillions of cells. And you're breathing into your cells and you're really allowing that breath to drop your awareness more deeply into your physical form. So you're noticing in that dropping in where it feels like there's tension or holding, and relaxing that all the way down into the earth. Now, allowing the body to remain really, really at ease, we're going to start that 12-fold belly breathing. And so this works as a medium to full inhale into your lower belly. So when you're breathing in, you're not breathing just up into the chest. You're letting the breath drop down into your round, soft belly. And then you're going to exhale, 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 pulling your belly button back towards your spine. And as you do that, for now, because we're laying on our backs, there's going to be a slight scoop of the tailbone off of the floor, a little pelvic tilt. Let your breath back in, a little medium to full inhale, pressing the back of your pelvis down, like the very tip of your tailbone down into the floor, which is going to arch your spine off of the mat. And then exhale, 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 exhale. There's a sense of your navel pulling back towards your spine. You're finding the lift of your pelvic floor, finding those lower abs. And then inhale again. So this is our 12-fold belly breath. We're going to do 12 of those together. And if you finish before me, just keep going. And I want you to pay really close attention to the desire to kind of go up into the head and analyze, and instead see if you can allow the sensations to be what kind of is continuously washing over you. All right, so let's begin. Medium to full inhale into the belly. And exhale all the way out. Find those bandhas, so that pelvic floor lift and the lower abs, the space between the pubic bone and the navel, draw in and back. Little pause at the bottom before you let that breath in again. As best as you can, keeping the upper body really, really relaxed and at ease. So you're really using the lower belly, pelvic floor, a little bit of vigor. And really the amount of vigor that you're using is up to you. And what we're doing with this style of breath work, keep going, is clearing out the energetic space of your lower belly. This is a really important or potent energetic space in the body. In the Taoist practice, it's called the lower dantian, the yin space. So we're pressing or forcing stale prana, stuck prana out of the region of the lower belly. Last one we'll do together, and we're going to hold the breath out of the body for a little bit longer. So take a breath in. Exhale, press, 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 press. Pelvic floor lifts, lower belly draws in and back. Drop your awareness into the lower belly and just be in the quiet and the stillness. And then let that breath back in and just take a few moments to feel the space of the lower belly now. Maybe the whole space of the body feels a little bit more electrified. That there's a quivering or a potential in the space of the quiet and the darkness. And then find that whole body breath again. And as you exhale, release the back boundary of your body. Start to imagine that the back boundary of your body wasn't just seeping or pressing down into the floor, that the energetic space of the back of the body was actually opening up and it was dropping down into the earth. That full body breath. And with each breath into the body, noticing where there's tension or holding and allowing your awareness to remain in those spaces to let them unravel. And the unraveling begins to open up the back boundary of the body. And it's going deeper and deeper down into the earth. Foot by foot. And the more you can relax and open, the more it becomes this kind of continuous release. And you're noticing that the more you connect with the earth, that the more there's this sense of being cared for, being grounded, feeling safe. Opening more, releasing down and down and down, whole back boundary of the body, moving deeper and deeper and deeper down into the earth. See if you can imagine yourself dropping down infinitely. Back boundary of the body opening up, and you're completely relinquishing any holding onto at the surface. You're going on and on and on. At the same time, on the surface, feeling that sense of pulling the energy of the earth back up into your body, the healing and supportive, stabilizing energy of the earth. And now let's not lose the connection to the earth. We're still feeling the back boundary of the body moving all the way down. And from that ancient place, start to bring your awareness to the space of the lower belly again. And you might still feel that ringing quality or that energetic opening. See if you can find the very center of that. Somewhere towards the center of that, you might imagine the shape of an egg right between your pubic bone and your navel. And that as you breathe in, that balloon expands or that egg expands. And as you exhale, it diminishes. So you're breathing just into that space. If you can invest and that the breath is only coming in through your body, through that space between the navel and the pubic bone, and it's this energetic glowing orb that's pulsing with your breath that expands and contracts. And then finding the very center of that with your awareness. See if you can pinpoint the center so that now your breath is just coming in and out through that tiny, tiny little spot. And it should change the vibration or the sensation that you feel. It's probably a stronger or more sharp sensation. And you can play around with it a little bit in your mind's eye of finding the rightness of the spot. It might need to lower or lift or go to the right or the left. And you'll feel it. And again, if this is your first time doing these meditations, oftentimes the first few times is very much just a visualization. It's just an image. But if we allow ourselves to continue to concentrate, we build up our receptivity, our ability to feel the subtle goings on of the body. Breathing in and out of that tiny little pinprick of light at the center of your belly. And then start to open that center point out. So it has this kind of outer rim that is burning, glowing bright, and that is pressing out and out and out into the space of your lower belly. And at the very center of it is opening up into this, it's kind of a paradox. It's emptiness. But inside that emptiness, there's a sense that everything is there. Everything and nothing all at once, and that exists within you. So it's opening, 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 and it's starting to expand into the region of the lower belly. So it goes from the size of a marble to a golf ball. You're still breathing into that center space that is opening up into that quantum emptiness. And as it's pressing out into the space around your belly, there's a cleanup that's happening. That anything that is not you, the refuse, the energetic leftovers, that is all getting pressed out and out and out, and it's burning up in that perimeter. So keeping your eyes closed, we're going to continue this meditation from seated. So see if you can grab whatever it is that you need. Still keeping that imagery, that space in the lower belly really, really open and empty as you come to a seat. So now you can feel the length of your spine, and you'll take a moment to find that rightness, leaning a little forward and back until you find that kind of column of stillness. And I want you to still feel the space or the region of your lower belly. See if you can drop into that potent and powerful well of energy, keeping your awareness there. Also bringing your awareness to the back line of the body, where the spine runs, where the central channel is. And the image for this is like a cylinder or a cone of light, about 1 inch to 2 inches in diameter, running up the back line of the body. So feeling down into the region of your lower belly, see if you can start to begin to breathe from that well of potency in the lower belly up your spine. And with each wave of breath, it's coming up a little bit higher. So that light or that emptiness in the region of the lower belly is breathing up your central channel to your solar plexus. Up to the heart center, to the neck, all the way to the dome of your head. So you're taking that energy and pulling it up. Just see if you can have a sense of that happening. Just being in the space of your body. It's always happening, but you are now bringing your awareness to it. And with that open belly space, you're pulling that energy up. So we're going to connect back down to the earth again. So starting to imagine that there was a nostril or maybe a tube that was coming out of your pelvic floor. So for the ladies, it's where your front bits are. For men, it's between the front and the back. There's no better way to describe it. So that's where you're plugging into. There should be contact between that space, and if you're on a prop, your prop, or if you're on the floor, the floor. And imagine from that, this tube or a root, something that at the very end of it has the ability to pull back up, is actually moving out of your body down into the earth. And with that, there's a sense of ease and relaxation. So you're continuously unwinding any holding in the body. And you might feel these two opposing energetic forces, the down and out, the apana, and a sense of rising up and out, your prana. Keep letting it move down and down and down and down and down, 50 feet down. You might feel some very unusual things happening in the body. Oftentimes the ego resists a little bit. I know for me, I always get a little twitchy. But treat that like the tension that you might find in the body, and just open up through the places of your body that are making contact with the floor or the earth, and see if you can drop all of that out as that nostril continues to go down, maybe now 500 feet. So it's moving down, and at the same time, you're pulling the energy from the earth up into your body, into that lower belly space that's now open and expansive. Dropping down even further. See if you can start to feel like there's momentum picking up, that it's moving faster and faster and faster. The further down you go, the more grounded and rooted you might feel here on the surface. You're breathing all of that back up into the body. And I'm going to count you down from 3. When I say go, I want you to let that nostril drop all the way down into infinity. That it could go on forever. 3, 2, 1, go. Open it up. You are tapping into constancy, the earth. We'll do that one more time. And just imagine that there's a fissure at that moment when I say go. So at that moment, there's a complete release, releasing that space of your pelvic floor all the way down into infinity. 3, 2, 1, let go, go. Imagining now in that space, there is a glowing fire. So this image that is like a larger version of what you saw in the space of the lower belly and the yin space and the lower dantian. Now we've got this glowing ball of light, this glowing ball of fire and flames at the center right? This space of opening up into infinity. Start to imagine that you are breathing that heat, that fire, which is a representation of love, and not romantic love or unrequited love. This is the kind of love that has space for everyone and everything. You are tapping into that heat, this glowing ball of licking flames. There's a shimmeriness to the energy there, and a heat, and you're pulling that heat up into the lower belly, up to the solar plexus, drawing it up to your heart space. This is where we want to concentrate now. And imagine now that there is a combustion. It's like the Big Bang. It goes from a glowing ball of light that's small and compact to just expanding out continuously, and you're feeling like a crescendo in the heat. And the numerous flames just keep replicating and replicating, and you're pulling that up and up and up to the center of your heart. See if you can have a sense of the heat, the warmth, radiating. If you ever look at the way that heat makes your vision almost waver when you look over the top of a fire, see if you can feel that sensation in your body, in the center of your heart. Bringing that heat directly into the very center of your heart. Start to imagine your heart as a flower, 1,000-petaled white lotus. And we'll imagine that this particular lotus needs heat in order to open, that it needs that fire, that flame. The representation of the earth's capacity to love now being replicated at the center of your heart space. So feeling that warmth at the very center of it, and as that heat begins to build and grow, that wavering, burning intensity, it starts to open petal by petal. Keep your awareness there. Keep letting it open petal by petal by petal. And as it opens, a sense of softening. So there's the intensity of the heat, but there's almost a sense of relief in allowing the power of that heat to radiate out. You don't have to keep it enclosed. You're starting to let it expand and open into this beautiful, brilliant white flower. Petal by petal, and there's that softening. So when something's clamped shut, there's a tension in it, and all of that begins to dissolve away as this beautiful flower opens up. We're still connected down to that source. We're pulling the heat from the source, from the center of the earth, all the way up, and it's feeding the opening of this flower. So staying connected down as you draw the energy up. And as the flower begins to open, it starts to expand outwards. As we get to the center of it, that empty space, similar to what we saw in the lower belly, it's opening up the center of this flower, and that heat is radiating out. That light is radiating out. So it's taking up more space than just where the physical heart is, or even the energetic center of your heart. Now it's taking up the entirety of the basket of your ribs. And the volume just keeps expanding out. So now it's outside of the body. You're moving that energy space, that heat, that warmth, that passion. This fierce, fierce love starts to move out and out and out and out around the body, taking up the room, moving out of the room. And you are just cocooned in the center of this aura of love. Let it radiate out of you. And from this space, we begin to cultivate an image. Don't lose this open, this loving space, but cultivating an image of the parts of yourself, perhaps, that we don't like to look at. A characteristic of your personality that is the shadow side of your being. Something that we're ashamed of or that we're disgusted by. And we're going to put an image. So if you could represent what that looks like to you, it could be envisioning yourself enacting something that you're ashamed of. It could be a caricature, whatever it is. You're placing that about with eyes closed, 6 feet in front of you. Imagine that you are looking at the personification of that part of yourself. You're still in this space of openness, of connection, this magnanimous self, the uppercase self. And you're allowing yourself to really look at this representation. This one's always really, really challenging for me. So take your time, and if the image changes, that's okay. See if you can keep yourself from being pulled away or distracted, and really allow yourself to see this part of you represented. Just observe. And observe what maybe starts to shift or change in your body, and see if you can come back to this open, expansive self. Fiery, burning passion of absolute love. Can you soften to that part of yourself? Is there a way that you can look at that part of yourself with nothing but love and acceptance? That you are the earth, that you are everything and nothing, that you are your light side and your shadow side. Keep opening to the love for that part of yourself. Any resistance that you meet up against, you can drop that down into the earth. And then see if you can integrate. See if you can imagine all of these visualizations, all of this imagery, your connection down, your expansion out, your best and your worth self. Bring it all back home into your body, and just stay in the space of your body. This somatic, this physical, very real experience. Let your head very gently drop to your chest, and let's place the hands on the belly and on the heart. A hand on the center of your chest, a hand on your lower belly. And just feel the weight of your hands pressing on those spaces. Bowing into yourself just one last time before we end our practice this evening. I know it's a little shorter than usual, but this is a lot. This is a lot to take in and to integrate. So know if this was a challenging one for you, if it felt like it wasn't authentic, that can be a part of the journey too. And I highly recommend come back, do this one every day this week if you can. See if you can break yourself open a little bit. And if on the other hand, a lot came up, know to be gentle with yourself for the rest of the night. This can bring up emotions that kind of show up a little bit later or tomorrow. So don't be surprised if that happens, and just let it kind of run its course. All that means is that you are relinquishing and letting go of something that you didn't need to hold on to anymore. Bring the palms together, lift your thumb knuckles up to your third eye center, the space between the brows, and just very gently fold forward over your mat. Offering up this practice in the hopes that all beings may have the opportunity to experience that ability to open up to love of self, to love of all beings, animals, plants, objects. Thank you all so much for practicing with me this evening. It is always a pleasure. And I hope that I'll get to see your faces actually this week on Zoom. On Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I will be teaching vinyasa, and I'll definitely leave space for a little bit of breath work and meditation at the end. All right. I can't wait to see you all. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I will see you soon.